you're starting to hear this all the time, guys, that if a game comes out and it's got an attractive character, or if players want the main protagonist to be an attractive character, specifically female in this instance, it's always it's always a gooner game. It's like you just want to fat to it. That's the argument a lot of people have nowadays. And Angela Katash, if I'm saying that name correctly, released a video that I thought was definitely right up my alley. I wanted to watch, see what she's got to say. It's called the Gooner Game Argument. So let's go ahead and listen to it and see what she's got to say.
When it comes to recent and modern discourse surrounding video games, especially newer ones, the focus is often shifted to depictions of women in games. How female characters are designed, and what has changed now when we compare them to designs from older games. If you are at all aware of conversations like these in online spaces like Twitter,
One prime example, if you want to compare to how characters were designed in the 90s versus modern day, look at Lara Croft. Look at how they're handling Lara Croft compared to how they handled her back in the 90s and early 2000s. The redesign, the Netflix anime. I mean, look how much backlash that's gotten because of the character design. It's horrible.
or YouTube, then you know that this is a conversation that gets very heated very
Yes.
fast.
Yeah.
I have weighed in on this topic myself several times, and this is something that I like discussing and giving my opinion on because I feel
I thought about making a video about this because I'm an old Warcraft player and I hated this because of the way Blood Elves used to look compared to the way they looked in this release trailer. And what's funny is Blood Elves were actually created and added to the Horde inside of World of Warcraft for one reason. They were meant to be beautiful and attractive. That was their whole purpose. That was their whole design. And look what they did to this. That's just awful, man. Just all that they murdered that chick. They murdered her. Oh my god.
like not enough women in this space feel like they can be honest. And the reason for that is exactly what I just mentioned. The conversation gets heated very fast, all sorts of labels and mean words get thrown around. It's not really something that most people want to deal with, understandably. Lucky for you guys, I don't really care, so I'm gonna say it anyway. One of the stupidest and most hollow arguments
And to be fair, the fact that she's a woman, she can get away with it a little bit more than a guy can. A little bit. I mean, people are still rabid. They'll still go after her and call her all sorts of names. But she's got a little bit more protection.
that you will hear when you bring up the fact that there has been a very obvious change in how women are depicted in video games is that you are wrong for criticizing it and you just want female characters to fit into your hyper-femme fantasy of fuckability. This is a real comment that I got, by the way.
We just want women to be conventionally attractive nowadays, not USA attractive. I mean, USA, we know the stereotype of USA around the world when it comes to women. Everybody knows we're a bunch of fat slobs, and the women are just as fat as anybody else here. We know that stereotype has started to take hold, and that's not what we want. That we don't want women designed to be fat or ugly. We want women to be conventionally attractive the way they used to be in the 90s and early 2000s. Hell, even in the earlier decades of video gaming, women were meant to be attractive in those games. It's just they couldn't display them quite the way they might have wanted to because of the technological limitations.
On my World of Warcraft video where I talk about how Liadrin does not look like a blood elf, or how she doesn't really fit that specific, already well-established look that we've grown accustomed to for years. One thing that is said to me over and over again whenever I bring this up is that I just want to pander to gooners, and that unless video game characters look like porn stars, they're apparently
Sorry, I just noticed the necklace she's wearing. It's intentional. It's intentional. And you know what? Good for her. I'm jealous. I can't do that. I'm so jealous. I can't do that. I'm not gonna lie. If I was an attractive woman, I'd be doing it too.
not good enough for me. I find it so hypocritical and ironic that the people that accuse me of these sorts of things are the ones that are bringing this conversation into some very vulgar and sexual places. It is incredibly harmful to equate femininity to a term like fuckability. It's weird, and it suggests that presenting as more feminine is this thing that solely revolves around being more attractive to men, and
No, she's right. Making that connection is bad because just all we're asking for 90 to 95% of the women that are represented in these video games is just make them conventionally attractive, easy to look at. You don't want to make them ugly like that bald chick from Intergalactic, right? It doesn't necessarily mean they need to look like a fuck doll or a porn star. Don't get me wrong. There's games that I'm okay with that. I mean, look at Stellar Blade. I'm perfectly okay with that. I don't mind that, but that doesn't need to be in every game. All the other games where you have female characters, just Just make them look like they are conventionally attractive. That's all we need.
Not just be a thing where women express themselves in this way for the sake of expressing themselves in this way. I've already said this in my Why I Only Play Old Games video, where it's starting to feel a lot like femininity and the term in itself, especially in gaming, is becoming this like inherently evil, vulgar
Speaking of femininity and evil, well, feminism in and of itself is nowhere what it used to be. It went from we need to empower women and make sure women have equal rights and are treated equally to men are bad. And now attractive women are bad because men like to look at attractive women. It's all tied back to some way of hating men, essentially. And that's what it's become.
thing. With comments like this, my point is proven. For some reason, calling for more feminine characters that
Who
aren't
wants to
big,
play
strong,
characters
muscular
that look
girl
like these? Really? Who wants to play characters that look like these? Nobody does.
or haven't had their appearance visibly toned down from their real-life models is seen
Yes,
as equal
it's
to
so
asking
insulting.
for something really offensive and crass. Demonizing people for speaking about it is wrong. Pretending that being more drawn to conventionally attractive characters is anything but human nature
We need, instead of demonizing the people speaking up about it, we need to start demonizing people who are actually doing it. That's the worst part here.
is also wrong. And I do think that there are definitely things that can be unhelpful in this discussion, like that one meme that somebody made with the character from Ghost of Yotai, where they added the really exaggerated chest and said, "This is made for gamers." But
Oh my god, that triggered so many people. Look, the reason it's unhelpful is because it triggers people. But at the same time, everything is going to trigger these people.
see that, and I don't personally take this seriously. I actually think that this is more than likely satire. It's a sort of a rage bait that people seem to fall for every time. I just know that Reddit had a field day with that one.
Oh god, they
Now,
did.
first
It
of all,
triggered so many
conventionally
people.
attractive does not necessarily mean sexy, but on the topic of sexy game characters, I did do a video about this very topic a while back. How do women really feel about them in games? So this is something that I actually talked to my mom about as well, but also just based on the comment section from that video, the thing that I've gathered is that what we really want are options. We want the option to be able to run around in a chainmail bikini or go
Yes.
full coverage plate armor, epic medieval knight style. You know this is true even if you look at the sort of transmogs that girls do.
Well, that was the whole point of feminism to begin with, to give women equality. And what did equality mean? Gave them the options to do what they wanted to do, not to be forced into, staying at home, not be forced into just being secretaries, right? It gave them the option. So they could do that if they wanted to be, a stay-at-home mom, or they wanted to be secretary. They had the option to do that, but they also had the option to go be a CEO, to go be the potential president and vice president of an entire country. That's the whole point of feminism. It's not meant to make women look like men, act like men. It's meant to let women be women and do what women want to do.
Or their World of Warcraft characters. And I think that's super fair. And you know what game had options? The original Oblivion. Remember my video
don't get me started on what they
censorship
changed in the
Oblivion Remaster,
remake.
where I showed the changes in clothing and armor that were made to appear less feminine on the female body. The part about them making chests smaller, taking away the things from
And you know what? When this was brought up on X, there were a lot of people who were like, "Oh, it's so small. It doesn't matter. Why do you care?" And what they fail to realize is it's death by a thousand cuts, essentially. If you don't stand up and point out and provide hopefully some sort of argument against these small changes, then it's just going to continue to happen and happen and happen. And then it's going to be the big changes that happen next. And by that point, it's going to be too late.
female bodies that we literally cannot help having in favor of that more androgynous look. One comment that I got on that video was that it's good that they got rid of that stuff, especially the boob armor, because that didn't exist in real life and that doesn't make any sense. And you know what? That's a valid conversation to sit down and have, especially if you're going
No, it doesn't. That's a stupid conversation to have. You want to know why? Let's speak in terms of Oblivion. Here's why it's stupid. In Oblivion or Skyrim or whatever, there were no fucking dragons. There's no such thing as magic. There's a lot of things in these games that don't exist in real life. Goblins didn't exist in real life. So why does it matter whether the armor existed or not? It's a stupid fucking argument. I would not give them that. No, I'm not giving that to them. Not at all.
for a game with more historical accuracy in terms of things like armor, and that is something that I can totally get behind. But
If it's a game like Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, then sure, maybe we'll let that happen because that's based a little bit more in reality. Skyrim, Oblivion, not so much.
And taking certain options away, you do just that. You take away options. You see, in the original
Agreed.
Oblivion, not every armor set changed on female characters. The steel armor set, for example, was the exact same on both genders. But if you really wanted that weird fantasy game look for
Sexes,
female
both
characters
sexes.
with the boob armor,
Don't use
you
their
could
same
have it
language.
as well. Sure, it's not practical, but none of this is real anyway, and if we start talking about practical, how about we don't mention the glass armor and how that would fare?
Key point that she just made. None of it is real. Problem solved.
In the real world. But the armor change, along with all of the obvious changes to make chests smaller and less apparent or covered completely, told me everything that I needed to know. It sends
Yeah.
the message that the female body is this bad thing that
Oh,
we
it
should
is.
cover up.
For people
we shouldn't bring
nowadays.
any attention to it, and the only valid female characters are the ones that are fully covered and look like they could take down any man with their bare hands. And look,
Yeah, they look like women in name only. Like they literally look like they have a man body, and you know they just took a woman's head and put it on top of it, made her manly. See, look, the U.S. like the general population, if you are part of a certain political party, really hates women who are feminine and attractive. I mean, look, I saw this the other day, and this is kind of where we're at as a society. Uh, Unfortunately, when it comes to political movements and just this is reflected in the gaming industry and even Hollywood to a point. Look at this. I'm gonna mute this because I don't know if the music will get me copyrighted or not. But just to start with, she's not that unattractive right here. I don't know why she has any issues. I think she's just jealous. We'll see. Look at her pouty lips. She's like, "Oh, I don't look like that. I don't look like that." Yeah, I'd still take you home. I'm just saying, she's attractive. That pouty look. Come over here. I'll make you feel better. Come on. Hot dang. This is what all flight stewardess should look like. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Males, get out of here. This is what they need to look like. Problem is, we got too many people that don't have to behave themselves anymore in society. But look at what you notice is all these people are looking at, but look at the looks on their faces and look what they look like. They hate them because they ain't them. I mean, she's conventionally attractive. I don't know what her problem is here either. Again, they hate them because they ain't them. Oh my God. Hold on. Hold on. Look at this. This dude hates him. Hold on. I'll show you. This dude hates him because he's probably batting for the other team. I'm just saying. He's probably batting for the other team. So, of course, he's going to hate him. Like, oh my God, girl, why you dressed like that? Come on, seriously. I know all you guys don't behave like that, but a lot of you do. And look at her. I mean, look at these two women. They all hate them. It's ridiculous. Oh my God. The looks on their faces. Holy shit, man. Look, she's snarling. She's like, oh my God. Okay, you're conventionally attractive, but you're gonna be chubby. I can tell you're gonna be a chubby woman when you get older. You're young now, and you look like that. You're gonna be. Stop. I'm body shaming. God, stop. Stop. It's not her fault. She's fat. It's her parents. That dad's like, damn. Why don't Mama look like that? Did you see the Asian mom? Hold on. Let's see right here. Look at her. She's like, what, girl? What are you doing? Oh. What, she got a do-rag on? She work at a cafeteria or something. Oh my Lord. She's like, oh, I gotta get a cigarette out. I need to smoke after looking at that. See, this is, look, women hate attractive women. Women are so mean to other women. It is ridiculous. If you guys aren't aware of this, just ask your girlfriends, ask your spouse. Women are so mean to other women.
There are times when that sort of thing can be really cool. I love a Brienne of Tarth moment. I think that she's such a cool character. No, she wasn't traditionally feminine, and yes.
Okay, one, she's fucking ugly. Two, She was a fucking great character in Game of Thrones. Okay. She got her ass beat. Then at the time at other times she did the ass beating. She had a great relationship with Jamie Lancaster, I think it was his name. He gave her, she earned his respect essentially, and he earned her respect as well. She had ups and downs. She wasn't perfect. She made mistakes. Great character in Game of Thrones. The problem is, while this is a great representation of how women can be portrayed, it is not a representation of how I necessarily want women to be portrayed. If we have women like this portrayed every now and then, cool, right? But she's ugly. She doesn't meet the conventionally attractive woman, at least the way she looks in this show. She may actually be conventionally attractive in the real life, but when it comes to a show or movie and you have a role, sometimes they will tone down your level of attractiveness or purposely make you less attractive or ugly because of the role calls for it. But she's great. I loved her in the show. Great way to do woman representation, but I want to keep this type of representation to a minimum because honestly, I would have loved for her to be a little bit more conventionally attractive, right? And not necessarily look like a dude with a woman's head because she did. She did. She looked, I don't know if she's that big in real life, but she's fucking huge in the show, man. Fucking huge in the show.
She was physically way stronger than the average woman and man, but there was a story to tell there. She was an interesting character who had this alternative take on femininity, and I didn't feel like she was that way just because.
I mean, look how tall she is compared to this other woman.
There was so much meaning there. But when every single character is made to be a sort of Brienne of Tarth, it loses its meaning. It stops being interesting and special.
You don't want every character to be like her.
At that point, it does feel like it's being done specifically to send some kind of message. It's actually insanely ironic just how conservative the standards have gotten when it comes to female game characters, especially in things like the Oblivion remaster, for which, funny enough, I got called a conservative for pointing it out. But people
Conservatives don't necessarily want ugly women in games. They don't mind attractive characters in games. Hell, they don't even mind sexy characters in games. I know a lot of conservatives who don't mind outright sexy and lewd characters in games and shows, right? It's only some of the more hardcore Christian conservatives that are like, oh, this is a Gooner game. Because we get it from that side too, just like we get it from the left. Melanie Mack is one of them. Razor Fist is another one. They're all about this whole Goonergate shit. I made a video about that as well. They talked about the First Ascendant being a Gooner game. It was just fucking ridiculous.
People were praising the changes made in the remaster as if the original Oblivion was somehow this hypersexual game with a lot of focus on the female body, a Gooner game, if you will. But it wasn't. For me pointing out that there was nothing wrong with this, I got labeled all sorts of things. And honestly, real talk, if you have a problem with this, then I don't see you as any different than the bottom feeders from over at 4chan who come into my comment section and say things like I'm prostituting myself for views when I wear a lower cut top in the video. You guys are two sides of the same coin. In trying to tone down
Again, they hate her because they ain't her. That's all I'm saying. If I was an attractive woman, you damn straight, I'd be putting it out there. I'm like, yeah, give me that money. Give me those views. Give me those clicks. You want more boobage? Okay, here you go. Here you go. Does this work for you guys? How about this? Hell, I'd be doing that if I could, man. If I could get away with it all day, every day.
Female characters and then having visceral reactions when a studio makes a character in a more revealing
not Storm.
outfit.
Sue Storm, right?
Up with are easily forgettable and generally
got my characters
bland
confused for a
designs
second.
for female characters. It's kind of like studios are
See, he looks cool. He looks cool. She does not. She does not look like her character design in the game whatsoever. Not even close.
afraid to make more appealing female characters. Again, easily forgettable, not a lot of effort put.
This is why Concord failed. No attractive characters. Who would want to cosplay any of these characters? Nobody. Nobody at all. I mean, this is one of the reasons why it failed. Attractive characters can get eyes on a game. Now, if the game is good, it'll succeed, right? But if the game has ugly characters, it doesn't matter if the game's good or not. You're going to struggle to get eyes on the game. People are going to see those character designs, and it's going to automatically turn them off. You need character designs to appeal to people and actually bring them in so they look at your game more closely and potentially give it a shot. The Killing Antidote is a perfect example for this. I've never been big on Resident Evil games. I've played maybe one when I was younger. I played the remake of Resident Evil 4 remake for a little bit, maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago. I don't think I even got halfway through it. But that type of game is not really the type of game I play. But The Killing Antidote got my attention. Why did he get my attention? You might have to ask. Well, the character was very attractive, and you could the fan service in that game was top notch. It was very top notch. They put a lot of time and effort into the fan service of that game. That got my attention. So I gave the game a shot, and the game is actually really good, and it's only created by two people. So obviously it's not a AAA game, but for what it is, it's an excellent game. Fan service aside, I enjoyed the game, but I wouldn't have enjoyed it nowhere near as much, nor would I have given it any time of day if the character designs didn't appeal to me. You know what I mean? Character designs are important for video games.
into their design. But even going away from like the revealing outfits conversation, I don't think that an appealing female character needs to have a super revealing outfit. A character that
No, but we should have the option to put them in one. Just like if it's a guy character, you should have the option to put them in like a He-Man type outfit if you want to, or a Thor type outfit if you want to. I don't have a problem with that. Have the option, have the freedom to do what you want with that character. You know, obviously within certain, well, no certain limitations. Have the freedom and options to do whatever you want built into that game. That's all I'm saying. We need to have the option.
I always bring up in these conversations is Jade from Beyond Good and Evil. She definitely has a more alternative take on femininity. She's more of a tomboy, shorter hair, unconventional color lipstick, but
she still looks like a feminine woman. Look at her facial structure. Look at her body structure. This is a feminine woman. That's important, guys. Very important.
she sticks with you. You remember her. It's a character that's appealing not because she
If this was made, what, in 2025, assuming this is not made in any modern day, if this was made today, I'm assuming Jade would be this guy. This would be Jade. And this would be some trans guy. It would be. You know it would be. It'd be like Dragon Age.
she's this really sexy, hyper feminine being, but she clearly is a female character that was designed by a person who has a
Oh Lord, how did people not freak the fuck out of her design? I'm not saying it's bad, but nowadays people would flip over her design.
positive attitude towards women. And that really shines through. She is strong in ways that don't necessarily mean that she has to be super jacked and she can wield a warhammer, but she's smart and that's part of gameplay. You are encouraged to find ways
Wait. No, see, they can't do that nowadays. If you did that nowadays, you didn't be saying that women are smart. We can't go and do that now. Okay, we can't go around letting them think women are smart. That's not gonna fly, guys. No. That cannot be done.
other than physical fighting to progress, and she does a really good job with all of that. I've kind of gone from making female characters less sexualized to making them super bland. More and more I find that female
Yes,
characters are
pretty
turning
much.
into background character number 4. And it is in part because we're on this really weird crusade against these elusive gooners that seem to be ruining everything. I don't know why I should care that some
When it is the gooners that have honestly helped uplift gaming as a whole. Gooners are a big portion of your society, whether you like to admit it or not. They may not always be out and open about it like I am, but there's a lot of gooners out there and a lot of people who love very attractive character designs.
somebody, God forbid, is attracted to one of my favorite female characters. Like, that's none of my business, really. It doesn't affect me that somebody's over there, like, drooling over a particular character. But I'm enjoying it because games are meant
Wouldn't that be a compliment if someone's drooling or attracted to one of your characters? I'm assuming she means one that you designed or created. I mean, I would think that'd be a compliment.
meant to be fun. Part of the fun are appealing game characters, because then you have cosplayers who take on the character and show their interpretation.
And I've said this before, a lot of what makes characters live on past their game, a lot of what makes the game have legs and continue to be accessed, whether it be the initial game or maybe through sequels is the character designs and how attached people get to these characters and how much they can cosplay them at cons and events like this. Being able to cosplay a character is very important for the longevity of that character and the game that it's a part of. And nobody cosplays an ugly character. I'm sorry. Nobody's going to be cosplaying that bald ugly chick from the intergalactic game that that guy from Last of Us and Last of Us 2 is doing.
Interpretation of it. And cosplay is such a great thing in my opinion because it really is open to everybody, no matter your race,
Yes.
no matter what shape or size you are.
Unless you're people who think you can't cosplay a character if you're white because the character's black. But then you have black people cosplaying white characters. So there is a double standard there, which I think is just absurd, but that does exist.
No matter what your background is. I remember seeing this TikTok from a plus size creator who was cosplaying a character from the anime One Piece. Don't quote me on that because I haven't watched One Piece, but I believe
Was she cosplaying Alvira? Because I think that's her name. You know what I'm talking about. Before she got the devil fruit powers.
she was cosplaying Boa Hancock.
Oh
Somebody
my
in her
God.
comments said, well,
She was cosplaying Boa? No, that's sacrilege. Nuh-uh, blasphemy. Strike her with the bolt of lightning, Zeus. No, we are not allowing that. That I will gatekeep. No.
actually, you look more like this character and you probably should have done this cosplay instead. Again, I don't watch anime, I haven't watched One Piece, so I'm not sure exactly who
She's not allowed to cosplay my Boa Hancock. Let me just say that right now.
they were referring to, but I know that the character that they brought up is fat. The creator responded by saying,
Alvira, I think that was her name. Hold on. Let's look. Her right here. This is her. That's probably who they're saying she should cosplay. Not Boa Hancock. I'm half joking. Look, if someone wants to cosplay Boa, obviously, if you can't tell, I'm joking. I'm okay with that. I don't have a problem with that. I'm not going to gatekeep. I'm joking. Okay, I'm being sarcastic here with my jokes. All right. Okay, just don't cancel me.
just because I'm plus sized does not mean I always have to cosplay fat characters.
Exactly.
And yeah, she is 100% right, because that's not what cosplay is.
No,
this
it's not.
idea that attractive characters are somehow harmful and they're not for everybody is absurd. Deep down, all of us want to look good. For me,
Yes.
like, that's part of the appeal of cosplay,
Yep.
getting a character who's really attractive,
I
dressing
mean, when I see an attractive guy in a video game, I'm like, dude, the dude looks ripped. He looks fucking awesome. I would love to look like that. When I see an attractive woman in a video game, I'm like, man, she looks hot. I would love to look like, I mean, I would love to be with her for an slip. No. I didn't mean it. That wasn't what I was trying to say. Okay. Stop. I don't want to see this on the internet.
up as this character and seeing myself in that character. Appealing game characters inspire people, no matter what they look like or who they are, to come up with something, their own interpretation of said character. This whole thing of not appealing to someone's fantasy or the male fantasy, in the long run, is actually perpetuating an unhealthy attitude towards women.
So is fat shame. I mean, not fat shaming. So is this whole fat acceptance stuff, right? It's all part of the same thing. We don't want to make characters that are attractive to men because we hate men, because they say we're fat and ugly when we're really fat and ugly. And we don't like that because we don't want to put the time and effort in to actually make ourselves be somewhat attractive, assuming that you can be, because not everybody can be, unfortunately. That's sometimes just the way of life. Depends on your RNG and your spawn location, right? But you know, they don't want to improve themselves. They want to be fat and ugly. They want to be, they want to look like, I don't even know if I can say this word, so I won't. But because how they look, they don't want to make a character that looks like how they feel like they can't look or makes them feel bad about themselves. It's like they need therapy. They really do. They need therapy. I think a lot of these women need therapy.
To have attractive characters because the Gooners might like them.
And it's not just
attractive.
It's not just women. It's men too. Men like will start drinking this Kool-Aid because they feel like it lets them get closer to the women who are making the Kool-Aid. And then if they get closer to the women making the Kool-Aid, then maybe they think they might be able to become the spoon that's stirring the Kool-Aid. You know what I mean? You know what I mean. You know what I mean.
Female characters because men are attracted to them. Just think about that for 1 second. At the end of the day, there is a conversation to be had here, absolutely, but the Gooner game argument is unproductive, unintelligent, and it does way more harm than good.
Especially when there's no nuance to the conversation. When if you make any sort of complaint, it automatically goes to the default, oh, you just want to be able to fat to it, why don't you go watch porn?
There is this idea that women somehow cannot have this opinion that I'm expressing in this video, and that if we say these things, we're
how
just
dare
pandering to
you, old
somebody,
woman?
because how
You
can I
hate your own kind. What are you doing?
possibly form this original opinion without your permission? Video games are
What man is forcing you to say this stuff? You're just a pick me. That's what they do.
art. Video game characters are art. It's
Like, oh, honey, he's not going to date you. That's what they say.
also valid to criticize the art for
This woman can't think for herself because she's saying what we don't agree with. She's not walking that line. So obviously someone is making her say this, or someone has brainwashed her. Who's behind the camera holding the gun, huh? Who's holding the gun?
very obviously approaching female
insulting.
character design with this caution against the Gooners that in actual fact is creating a hostile attitude towards femininity. Whatever side of this
Yes.
argument you're on, you are entitled.
Look at all the people online that flip the fuck out if they see a video of what would be considered a traditional woman who is actually staying at home and taking care of the house. Now, the trad wife thing. Now, I think some of that has kind of gone overboard. I think people are milking it and faking it. But the real trad wives, they trigger women, like a lot of these types of women that she's talking about, so much because it's just they're like, oh my God, you're working for the man. Oh my God. And I'm like, excuse me, Miss Fat Ugly Dev, who's the CEO of your company? Is it a guy? You're working for the man too.
To your own opinion, you don't have to agree with me. One thing that I will stand very firmly on is that equating femininity, just the simple concept of femininity without sexual attraction, without all of that, equating it to something really vulgar and using terms like fuckability and Gooner game, especially when you're shown examples of something really tame.
Hey, just so we're clear, I have no problem, and I don't think there is a problem with a Gooner game or making a character to the level that it does reach the fuckability type comment. I'm okay with that. I think there needs to be games like that, but not everything needs to be like that. But if it is, that's a positive in my book. I'm just saying.
And just like elements that women really cannot help having. When you use such harsh language to describe all of that, you are part of the problem.
And
That's my
these
take
women
on
are
the
harsh
situation.
to begin
I hope
with.
you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe. I really appreciate it. As always, huge shout out to my channel members, and I'll see you guys in the next video.
Yeah, great video.
Be seeing you. Bye.
Great video. She's got a point. I always like her videos, but when I saw this one, I just knew I had to react to it because this is the shit I talk about all the time. If you've watched my streams, if you watched other videos, I'm always at some point, whether I make a video about it or we just, for whatever reason, we get onto this topic during the stream, I talk about this a lot because to me, it's important to me. It really is. I think it should be important to anybody, right? We all want representation, right? Right? I mean, attractive women exist throughout the world. Maybe not in the US much anymore, except for my wife, obviously, of course. Love you, babe. But, they do exist. So having a female character in a video game that's attractive helps the video game. It gets people to look at the game. It appeals to people. And look, you can come out with all the bullshit studies that you want. You can include mobile games, all you want. But you cannot deny, I mean, you may, but you'd be outright lying. But it's unrefutable. It's irrefutable, I think the word is, that men are still your dominant gaming force when it comes to a lot of these games that we complain about, which are AAA games, not mobile games. In fact, the mobile games are the ones playing into this shit. Gotcha games, right? Whether it be Love in Deep Space, whether it be Nikke. I mean, there's a lot of gotcha games that have attractive character designs. They're playing into that shit. They aren't the problem. The problem is when you count a lot of these mobile gamers as real gamers, and then you use that to make these AAA games ugly because you're like, well, we got women playing games too. not to the same level that you want to act like they are. So you use that as an excuse to really uglify a lot of these women and characters, change certain things about these games, which is just, it's insane. It really is. And you're doing nothing but hurting yourself. I mean, really, shit has gotten so bad that in KCD2, people praise the female designs in that game. And the only thing I thought was nice in that game when it came to the females design was that they had big boobs for once, which, don't get me wrong, is great. But I still thought the faces were ugly. And I don't know if you can make faces in that type of graphic style pretty, but I couldn't praise them. I'm like, yeah, they got boobs, but it's like Butterface. KCD2, all the women are Butterfaces, right? That's why I like games that have a different type of style. First Berserker Kazan, Stellar Blade, Wu-Chain Fallen Feathers. Some of these like Wu-Chain Fallen Feathers, Black Myth Wukong, they're not quite the same version of realistic, but they're realism to a point, but enough that they still keep like a fantastical design about it. So the characters, they all look much better than they would look in sort of like the photorealism type style that you see in KCD2, Assassin's Creed, Ghost of Tsushima, Ghost of Yote, stuff like that. So anyway, this is very important. I hope you guys like this video. I mean, it's an important topic to me, right? It's close to my heart, right? It's very much, I'm very much into this shit, right? So listen, if you like the video, hit the thumbs up. Let me know below what you think about this topic. Do you like it? Do you not like it? Do you agree? Do you disagree? And if you disagree, let me know why. Just keep it civil, okay? Don't default to the whole you just want to fap to them and you just go watch porn. That's a low energy, bad argument, right? Give me a good argument as to why you might think what you think. And if you like the video, hit the thumbs up, subscribe to the channel for more content, and I will talk to you guys later. Have a good one.